Are you trying to expose your kids to more new and interesting foods, but then feel totally guilty when most of it ends up in the garbage? Today I'm talking about why I'm actually okay with wasting a bit of food and why I think it's a necessary evil when it comes to raising healthy eaters. But don't worry, I've also got some tips for wasting as little as possible, so stay tuned. Okay, so before you go and call the environmental police, hear me out. So you've probably heard that it can take 15 to 20 or even dozens of tries before a child will accept a new food, which is why it's super duper important to expose them to a wide variety of food on a daily basis. Even if they don't eat it, you just have to keep on serving it. Because honestly, guys, this whole feeding thing can be really intimidating to kids, and sometimes new foods just take some getting used to. So once they see it 15 to 20 or more times, it's a lot less scary for them and seems more normal, and so they're a lot more likely to try it. And I know what you're gonna say here. You're gonna say that you're just gonna keep serving the food, but they're not gonna like it and it's just gonna all end up going in the garbage. Trust me, I get it. Wasting food is not fun, and I promise you that I am not an environmental hater. My husband actually calls me a tree hugger, I swear, because I'm really passionate about recycling and making sure we're protecting the environment for our children. So I really hate wasting food unnecessarily. Oh my gosh, and don't even get me started on the cost of food these days. I actually get sick to my stomach when I serve my kids food and they don't eat it and I have to throw really expensive food in the garbage. And has it ever happened to you where your child just like licks something and then says they don't like it and then nobody else can eat it? Real food is not cheap, is it? However, in this situation, it's really important to look at the bigger picture. So yeah, wasting food, it sucks. But you know what sucks even more? Having a child who is picky for the rest of their lives or who is unable to make healthy choices for themselves because the number of foods that they'll accept is so limited. So one of the key strategies when it comes to raising healthy eaters instead of picky eaters is exposure, exposure, exposure. So we need to expose our kids to as many different foods as we can as often as possible. And the key is to not give up. Just because they won't eat the food the first, the second, or like the 10th time, there is going to be a day when they're feeling adventurous and comfortable enough to give it a try. And guys, if the food's not in front of them at that time, then it's a wasted opportunity. So if a bit of food gets wasted in the process, I'm okay with that. Because long term, I want to raise healthy eaters who love a wide variety of food and who are able to make healthy choices for themselves as they get older, which hopefully means that they're going to live a long, healthy, and happy life. Okay, my rant is over. However, all that being said, there is totally things you can do to minimize the amount of food that you're wasting as much as possible. So my first tip, which you can totally tell the environmental police because they're going to love it, is to compost. Now I know some of you might think that sounds all hippie and earthchild, and that means you have to have a composter in your backyard and like spread it all over your garden, although I think that's amazing. But a lot of communities now have compost as part of their regular garbage collections. So in my community, we have a green bin, and I also have a little one that I keep in my kitchen, and I put all of my food scraps in, and it all goes to a compost instead of into a landfill. So it's a win-win. Another way to minimize the amount of food that gets wasted at a meal is to serve your meals family style. Do you guys know what that is? So it's when you put all of the dishes on the table and everybody serves themselves. So your child is able to decide if they want the food, and if so, how much of it they want. Now, if this is something new, you may have to do a little coaching with your child in terms of portion sizes. So helping them listen to their appetite and to recognize that sometimes their eyes can be bigger than their stomachs. Oh my gosh, I just sounded like my mother when I said that. And tip number 3, if you are actually portioning out the food for your child, so maybe in a situation with a younger child who's not able to serve themselves, you want to make sure that you are serving itty bitty portions, like really small, especially if it's a new food. And then you tell them that if they want more, they can always go back for seconds. So less food on the plate equals less waste. And my 4th tip is to actually help them learn to like the food so that they're eating it instead of throwing it out. Now we talked about exposure being a really key strategy when it comes to raising a healthy eater instead of a picky eater, but there are so many other strategies out there that you can be implementing at the same time. And obviously this is my bread and butter, so if you're interested in learning more of these strategies, you can stay tuned for more videos. You can follow my blog, or you can sign up for my mailing list, and there's a link below where you can do that. Because really all I do is talk about how to raise a healthy eater instead of a picky eater. So that's it, folks. So I hope you feel at least a little bit better about tossing those shunned leftovers, because sometimes it's just a little bit of short-term pain for some long-term gain. So let me know what you think of my first official YouTube video. I love to hear from you, so you can leave some comments below. And if you have any ideas for future videos, I would love to hear those. And if you want these videos delivered straight to your inbox, you can sign up at the link below. So that's it for me, and we'll see you next time.